Very good afternoon. My name is Alok Shrivastava and it's a video long awaited, like this Harley Davidson you can see here. Yeah, so before I start with the video, let me share this my Harley Davidson. I just bought this new beauty. It's Iron 83, and before I proceed onto the video, I'd definitely like to share some of the pics. This is a real mean machine and magical also. So this is it, a couple of screenshots or pictures of this is me. This is my new Iron 83. I hope you will like it, and I don't know whether you got a chance to ride with me or not, but this is a really good machine. Yeah, so after this this Harley Davidson, thus this video focuses on a basic introduction of Docker. What is a Docker and how Docker can be used to create your machines on the fly in a very short span of time. So before I proceed further and explain to you what is Docker, how to install it, and how to create the instances using the Docker image, I will just give you a basic introduction of Docker, why Docker is needed, and why the industry is shifting or is very optimistic about the Docker. So I hope you all know that in earlier days we used to have the traditional setup that I have a hardware, I will install the OS and all the things, then all the libraries will come onto it, then I can install different applications like FTP is also running here, my DNS is also running here, and my say Apache is also running here. But the problem is that it is totally hardware centric, and all of the applications, they depend on a single OS. So if something goes wrong with this hardware or with this OS, I will lose all the applications. So this is what I had explained here, that it was very less flexible and was very expensive. Then comes something known as the virtualization. You must have heard about the KVM, ESXi, Citrix, Hyper-V. So these are your hypervisors. So what the hypervisor does, in the earlier example we had only one OS installed on a hardware, then multiple applications were there. So what I do now with the virtualization, instead of installing the applications directly, what I do, I install something magical known as hypervisor here on the host machines, and this hypervisor is capable of holding multiple operating systems simultaneously. So in this guest OS, I have a, say it's a RHEL 7 machine or a RHEL 6 machine with the KVM installed. So I can have a different RHEL 6 machine or RHEL 7 machine with some application B running on it. I can have another Windows machine might be with some different applications running on it, and then I can have another RHEL machine with some different applications on it. So in this manner I was able to get the maximum ROI from the hardware, but there was an issue. The issue was that I need to patch and control and secure all the guest OS. So that is a overhead for the admin. No doubt the VMs are isolated from each other. That means this guest OS, it doesn't know about the existence of other guest OS running on the same machine. So but there is one problem, that if suppose these both are running RHEL 7 but the applications are different, but I need to install RHEL 7 twice, isn't it? These things are common, but still I need to install them twice. So that is an additional overhead. That was fine, and the benefit is that I am able to run different operating systems like Windows and Ubuntu and RHEL and Fedoras. Then we have got something that I'm going to focus on is the containers. So I have just seen that the guest, if two operating systems are same, they both are running RHEL 7, but I need to install the guest OS multiple times. I need to have the libraries or the bin files there. So they increase my footprint, they increase the load on the server. So if these things are common, why not have it once, isn't it? So here comes containers. So what container does over the guest OS and the hypervisor, whatever, right? So this is your hypervisor, or what you call the cloud computing stuff. So we have different binaries and different applications. The operating system is one. So I can explain it something like this. Just a moment, I'll give you a very interesting picture here. Yeah. So traditional VMs, in the traditional VM, we have got the hypervisor, and the guest OS need to be installed twice or thrice, even if they are same. And the libraries need to be, obviously, they need to be like available on both the VMs. But in case of the Docker, instead of installing the guest OS multiple times, I just install the Docker engine over the host, and I just need to install the libraries. Everything else, or the operating system part, which is missing, or which was there in case of the VMs, is missing here. So the guest OS is being replaced by something known as the Docker engine. The Docker engine will give you that environment to run the applications. So applications thinks they have the OS, but it is actually a Docker engine. So you reduce your footprint. I have another interesting picture here. Just a moment, I'll show you this to you. See here, something like this. So hardware, your Linux machine, then you've got the Docker engine, and then I've got multiple containers. Containers means different OS. So it can be RHEL, it can be Fedora, it can be these things. Multiple, like your OS can be run, right? But there is a problem. The problem is that you cannot run. They are less flexible. What does that mean, that they are less flexible? Less flexible means you cannot run different operating systems, right? That means I cannot run a Windows machine on a Linux OS. They are less flexible as compared to the VMs. Whereas in case of the VM, on the same hypervisor, I can run a Windows machine as well as I can run a Linux box. And they are considered, till now, they are considered less secure than the VMs, because it's a container and everything is running on the host OS. So in case one container get compromised, it is possible that the attacker can also affect the other containers. So might be like down the line we will have solution for this, but till now they are considered to be less flexible and less secure. So here is a small chart of differences here. I'm not going into much detail of this. So VMs, they represent the hardware level virtualization, whereas the containers, in my case, it's Docker. So there are different companies that offers the containerized solutions. Here I'd explained it. So it's actually a part of our official training course. So like we have got OpenVZ, Solaris zones, and in Linux we have got LXCs, Linux containers. Here it is, Linux containers. The Docker is a container management system that uses LXCs. So let's move on to the comparisons there. Sorry, yeah. So VM represents the hardware level of virtualization, whereas the container represents system. VMs are heavyweight because the complete OS need to be installed multiple times, whereas in containers the OS need to be installed once. It's slow provisioning because of the footprint of the OS. You need more time to deploy a VM, whereas in case of the containers it's real time and very fast, like my Ion 803 might be. Haha. And the performance of the VMs is slow, but it can use the hardware, as it means the native. And the last point is very important. They are fully isolated, means one VM is totally isolated from the another VM. In case any VM goes down or one VM got compromised, there are very rare chances that the attacker will be able to damage the other machine also. Whereas in case of the containers, as it is a process level of isolation, it is slightly more insecure and less flexible, as you cannot run a Windows box over a Linux host. So enough of the theory here. So let me just go down and explain you a very simple video of installing container or running an instance in the container on my server which is hosted on AWS, Amazon Web Services. I'm just closing this down or minimizing this. So I hope you can see this machine. I'm giving the password. Here it is. So this is my machine, and I'll just show it to you. We have a AWS account here. So I will be using this AWS server to access, right? This is on our Amazon Web Services. So it's a server which is running over the cloud. So I'm going to hit it from my VM, and will try to install an instance under the Docker. So I obviously have got the SSH keys and everything, so I just use my command here to hit it. Just a moment. So because I have the keys available here with me, this is the keys that I'm going to use for my Amazon server. So I just get the path. Just a moment. I'm going to terminate this machine once the video is over, so don't try to connect on it. Security comes first, guys. So I hit it. Very simple. Hopefully yeah, perfect. So obviously I need to accept the keys, and here I am. Oh, unprotected file. Why? Because I need to make it 400. So chmod 400 and your key file. So it's a mandate or security mandate which is being given by Amazon, so I have to abide by those. So hopefully it will connect. Perfect. I'm connected to my Amazon Linux machine. Here it is. So this is an actual cloud server hosted on Amazon, and I'm going to run a Docker instance on it. So number one thing that you need to do is that just check the yum repository. So I'll be using sudo yum repo list. It has my, I just do a clean all, sudo yum clean all, and we'll try to do it again. That's great. So perfect, seems working. So the first thing that you need to do is that, as it is my Amazon machine, like AMI image, I need to install the Docker first. So the first step is obviously to install the Docker engine. So I do a sudo yum install Docker. One of the reasons of me using this Amazon machine is that the Docker repositories are available. So I need not to waste my time there downloading the Docker packages, though they are very easily and readily available. But I, being a lazy guy, I'll just avoid downloading those packages, and will always try to find some shortcuts and smartcut also. Yeah. So I press, here it is, install the Docker. Fair enough. Wow, that's great. What next? I need to start the Docker service because currently it's not running. So if I do a Docker status, it's not running. So I need to start it. Perfect. So I can check it out whether everything is running perfectly or not. I can check the status of the Docker. So these are the very basic Docker commands. I am not going to go deep into the Docker in this video, but obviously yes, obviously in the coming videos of Dockers I'm going to show you more security aspects of the Docker, but this is for the person who just want to start with the Docker. Perfect. So I can give check the version availability and everything there. I've got some very simple command. Docker version will also give you this. Perfect. So I'm running the Docker here, and there is, though you can use the rpm-qa or rpm query command, another command which can be used to check the status whether the Docker is running or not is the docker info. So I can also give sudo docker info. Sorry. Perfect. So it gives you a lot of information about your hardware. So this is it. My data space used and libraries, versions of RHEL 7, operating system is AMI image, 1 CPU, I've got this much of RAM, and my IP address. Ignore it safely. Perfect. So now I intend to download a Docker image from a Docker hub. My repositories are already connected there. So if I go to etcym.repos.d, I can see this. The EPL is configured here. Amazon repositories are configured here. So EPL and like Amazon, these repositories are automatically doing the magic for me of giving me and connecting me the Docker packages and connecting me to the Docker hub. So I'm not going into that. So before you proceed further and try to download a package, I might be interested in seeing what different images are available on the Docker hub. So I can very simply give the command. Let's say I'm interested in installing the Fedora. So I can give docker search Fedora. So this command takes me to the Docker hub and will show me all the Fedora images available. Wow, that's great. It's given me a lot of output. So I hope you can see there. This is the Fedora, a small description about it. So this interestingly is being provided by the Fedora itself, right? And the star means recommendations. So it's always recommended to use the image which has got a good number of stars, or the recommendation. So as this is 358 stars as compared to any other image, so let me use this image. So now the second step, once you had, so you can look for other images also, like you want to go for CentOS, so try running CentOS. I don't mind. Let's see. Wow, there are a lot of CentOS images available on the Docker hub. So this has got a real cool number of recommendations. That's great. But I will sticking to the Fedora one for this video at least. So now I need to pull the image, right? So for pulling the image from the Docker hub, you just need to know the name. So the name is the Fedora, right? Perfect. So the second command will be sudo docker pull Fedora. And if my internet is perfect, everything is perfect, this seems to be a success. Going. That's great. Yes, this is doing good, and it's being downloaded. Perfect. The pull is complete. Let me check. How can I check whether the pull is complete? And now the image should be available locally with me. So there is a command there, sudo docker images. So sudo is obviously the command which I have to use. Docker images is the command which will show you the images those are locally available in your machine, which you have downloaded. So obviously I have downloaded this, so it is available. What next? Simple. The image is available, the Docker is set up. I just need to run the instance using this image. So this is the important step. Running a Docker instance using image from Docker hub. This is what I'm going to do. Oh, not it is hub, HUB, not HUV. Sorry. Yeah. So my image is already there. Sorry, it's images. Perfect. Now I will run this. So I've got a very interesting command, sudo docker run. And any point of time you are in a problem, you are in a fix, you know how to take help. Take the help by --help command. Your normal Linux kind of help is available here with Docker also. So I'm not going into the security options and all those things, just trying to run a plain instance using that Docker image. So again, I'll just give this Docker images. So my image name is Fedora here. So I give here sudo docker run interactive and give me the terminal. Provide terminal. I stands for interactive, T means give me the shell, the terminal. Which instance you intend to run? Fedora. And what command I want the bash shell. So I say bin bash. That's it. Wow, can you see? The prompt has changed. Earlier it was showing me the private IP of my AWS server. Now it's something different. So I am now inside my Fedora instance, which is running as a container over Docker. How can I check? I can simply give cat @cos release. There's a very simple file there. I hope all of you knows. Here it is. It's a Fedora. It's Fedora 23 to be precise, and a lot of information about it. That's great. So if I do an exit here, again I came back to my Amazon machine. So if I give a docker ps, oh, it says it's couldn't connect it. No problem. So I go back to it again. Right, it's running here. So if I do a ll here, see here, it's a like Fedora machine with all those normal directories and everything. So I can create a file or anything like there, like it's a simple OS, like a normal OS, like any other OS. Though there are different methods of doing a commit, saving it, and doing a lot of things, but that will be for the next video, not for this video. This video is that you are able to install the Docker, you understand the Docker, and that you are able to run an instance using a Docker image. So even if I want to create some image here or a file here, I can create it. So I say echo hello all, this is network NAS, and I put it in a file temp docker.txt. So if I do a temp docker.txt, it's a file, right? So this is a instance which is a Docker instance and is running inside my AWS machine. Then there are a lot of commands like docker attach and all the things, so that we are going to discuss in the next class, not right now. So I hope you like this video, and this is how you can start learning the Docker, and I'll be back in the next video with some more pictures of me and my Harley Davidson iron-aided tree, and obviously some technical stuff also. So guys, thank you for watching, and I'm really sorry, my apologies for posting a video after a long time. So I'll see you once again. Bye bye, take care, God bless.